Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode, I'm going to be looking at building a competitive list. Now the reason for this is that it's just been announced that there's going to be another tournament in Moonbreaker happening a couple of weeks time from now, and for once there's a reasonable chance I might be able to attend. So it's not guaranteed, I might not be able to go, but I'd really like to be able to. So what I want to do is try and start working on a couple of competitive lists. I know that previous formats have required you to play a variety of different things, so sometimes it's been a draft, they're looking at maybe doing a draft this time. Sometimes it's been things like you play one of each captain, or you have lists with a certain amount of variation between them, and I'm going to try and look at just building a competitive list for the moment until we know what the format is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Zax list. So I still believe Zax to be the most powerful of the captains. The 2 ranged attack is really powerful. Both abilities are really useful, and I think it just really does play the way that I like to play the game. So, Cinder Cost. We're going to start with everyone's favourite, Maximus. It's obviously a very powerful unit, very good, very got a lot of utility. Maximus is something we're going to want to play. Now I do like some of the sort of the melee units and that sort of thing, but I'm not really a melee player in general, so I want to go for a Deadeye as my next follow-up, and I want to go for sort of the more aggressive units, but not necessarily. I'm not going to go all in on aggression. I'm going to have a little bit of variety in here as well. So I'm not going to do this in Cinder order specifically because there's a couple of things that I think are worth picking up first. So the next is going to be Shrapnel. Shrapnel I think is one of the best, just all-round good units. She has armor, she's got a shotgun, AoE attacks, decent damage. These 3 I think are probably my 3 I'd consider some of the most powerful units in the game at the moment, in my opinion. So, obviously not everyone's opinion, but in mine I think so. Florio Lance is another one I'm going to pick up, because what I want to do is if I'm controlling the board at range, then I can keep at range as well. So, Zax can push things back, we've got these to basically take things out fairly early, and we need Florio to sort of have that end game finish available. And then we're in a little bit of a loss. So, where we fill in from here is quite interesting. There's a lot of options, and I'm trying to think out what we want to do, what our turn order is going to be, what the big plays are, and honestly I think the next thing that I want to do is actually just start looking at the curve. So we've got our turn 1 play, that's fine. Turn 2, if we're on the play, then we're just going to have Taria, that also is good, but if we're going second, we're going to have second wind, so we're going to have 4 Cinder. So we could just play Shrapnel, but we could also do with another 2-drop to just fit in that curve. So I often find that another 2-drop is really useful in terms of basically being able to play filling any gaps in the curve. So if you've got like a couple of Cinder here and there, often with second wind that's going to be the case. I like having another 2-drop that's valuable to play. I really like Rickety. I think Rickety's got a lot of value here, and I also think I might even go even further than this and look at potentially putting in Beatrice as well, but we've only got 3 slots left. So looking at these slots, we are playing the sort of the more proactive plan, and I'm trying to see if there's anything we want that will sort of deal with things in a mirror match. So I think Axl Pyro is another really powerful 3-drop. We need something to play on 3, alongside who I'm probably going to play is also Blindsider Extli. Now Extli isn't ideal in this sort of list, because Extli doesn't, in the late game, but we do have other ways of spending our Cinder, but we're not going for the melee, but Extli is just so many raw stats, I think it's very, very useful, and I think Axl Pyro's got more viability than I give it credit for. So this is where I want to start for the meantime. So we've got 1 drop, and then we've either got 2 drop, or 2 2-drops, or 4 drop for turn 2. And I think the thing we're missing here is some sort of defensive unit. Not because I think every list needs one, but I think that we can really benefit from it if we've got certain other things like Axl Pyro and Florio to play around. And honestly, there's a part of me that just wants to put Beatrice in every list. I love Beatrice, I think she's great, but I'm starting to think recently that this could even just be another case for Taria Arsenal. With having Grav Disc on Zax, Taria Arsenal works really well with Florio, really well with Deadeye. Not well with Florio, well with Rickety, not Florio. And then also fairly well with Zax as well. So I think we're going to just try out this to begin with and go for 1 1-drop. And we've got, is it 4 2-drops, is it? 1, 2... Oh, only 3, yeah, because I was considering Beatrice, but I haven't done. I think this is going to be my first attempt. So I wanted to show you sort of my list building process, because I want to sort of work out the curve as well. So that's why I've said we've got the 1-drop for turn 1, we've got the multiple options for turn 2, turn 3 we've got these 2 here, and we come to turn 4, we're going to have 6 Cinder, so being able to activate Axl Pyro is a good option there, and also play Florio Lancer. If we needed to activate Exli, we can use Deadeye's ability and Florio. So I want to make sure we've got that good follow-up, and then from there it's kind of just a free-for-all. Hopefully we should be activating Florio every turn, but we've got some really good options in both going here straight curve, so straight curve probably be Max, Deadeye, in this case probably Exli into Shrapnel, but we could also go like Exli into Rickety Taria depending on the situation. Also Taria and Shrapnel is great synergy. I think this looks reasonable, so let's go for comp list 1, and then my favourite animation, and then I'm just going to randomise this until I find something I like. That's quite cool. We haven't got any Cholex, let's go with that, the Methodori one. We've got a few Methodori. So this is my my list building process that I do go through for if I'm going to do something competitive. I want to work out what my turn orders are going to be, and then you can start, adapting things in every single game. It doesn't, it's not too big of a deal, but I think this is about where I want to be. Especially having a Blindsider Extli in here, having more ways to spend your cinders is really important. So having Taria here, who's got synergy with a few different units, is great. We've got, and also things that spend cinder at different costs. So we've got a 1, a 2, a 1, a 4, and then obviously a 1 and 2 on the captain. I think this allows us to spend our cinder really efficiently and also activate Exli more often. So Exli being our only melee unit is fine because it's literally just the most powerful single unit on its own. So I think this is going to be our list. I'm going to try and jump into a couple of games and see what we can do from there. If you've enjoyed the channel, you enjoy the content, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I've never mentioned this before, but also hit the little notification bell. That way you get to find out every single time I'm uploading a video. It's the same time every day, but hopefully you'll be wanting to watch it anyway. And it's always good to keep on top of these things. And anything you've got, your feedback for this list or anything like that, even if the format doesn't end up like this, I still want to have like lists that I feel comfortable with as a competitive style. So let me know what you think, let me know what tweaks you'd make, and especially given that we're going to be practicing for this tournament a few times over the next couple of weeks, give me feedback on my plays, let me know where I've gone wrong. I would love to hear from you. So I'm going to hop back and see you guys once we get into the game, and from there we'll hopefully have a bit of fun and try and get some quick wins. Okay, so we've got our first game. Let's jump in and find out what our opponent's going to be, and see if not only can the list hold up, but can I hold up as well, because oh dear, I know this is no good player, so this is going to be an interesting one. This is Bad Fun Eurippa. I can't remember how they pronounce it properly, but we also got some pretty awkward assists here. So we're aggressive, and I think realistically the only thing here that makes sense for me is Nano Shield and Recall. It means if one of our units is nearly going to die, we can potentially save it with Recall, and Nano Shield just means we can go really aggressive with our captain without needing to worry too much. I swear they're leveling faster and faster all the time. Okay, so we're happy for them to be moving out because we're the aggro list this time. I don't know if they're going to know that, because a lot of the time when I'm playing more sort of quirky lists or janky lists, but here we are all about trying to just push that damage in early. So here I'm not going to be able to get a line of sight, because I'd need to get to about here to get it, and I think that would be very difficult to get a good line of sight. And I think this is the bizarre paint job. We'll figure this out one day, but I've got no idea what's really happening here. Eating some tomatoes. Okay, so there's the cinder all going down, and then probably no movement, I guess, because I don't see any. Yeah. Okay, the move forward's interesting. So, interestingly, if they move over here, there are some scenarios where you can actually move out of range of your own orb, but they're not going to happen this time.
We're lousy with projectiles.
Can we get a good line of sight? The best we got is the 36, but we might as well take it. 27% chance to hit. We didn't get it, but that's about to be expected. I think I'm going to just place Maximus down here, so we've got as much of a chance of being in their face as possible. They're going to jump back here and take this, so they're going to be able to deploy safely from our captain, but probably not safely from Maximus. Okay, so unsurprisingly, they're going to be playing an aggro list. This is something that, well, not aggro, but like a more aggressive list. And I've seen, let's call them Bad. I've seen Bad playing more aggressive, more competitive lists quite a lot of the time, hence probably why they're leveling up so fast. So it's something that I need to be prepared to combat. And this is absolutely the situation where getting more units out is usually going to be a better option. But the question is, what unit do I pick? Because Taria, while useful, Rickety is a bigger finish. But Rickety, again, Astra is quite a hard one to deal with in this run. So they're going to have Full Cinder. If they play like a Shrapnel right in front of Astra, that's pretty bad for us. But I'd expect maybe Deadeye Rickety or a Taria or something like that. But all we want is to be able to get something into line of sight with our Zax. That would be ideal. Okay, it's Deadeye. We may not be able to get line of sight, but it is what it is. We just need to chip away damage as and where we can. If they're playing multiple units here, okay, with that being Maximus as well, I can actually see a world where our correct play might even be to just stick out Shrapnel. I mean, we could even just try and steal Cinder at this point.
Brought my special pack.
Okay, so we can get line of sight, but only onto... Oh no, we can get both. Okay. So we're going to move into where we can get both. There's no reason to not try and hit Max first. We could go for the orb, but given that there is a chance we can actually just kill one of their units here, that's what we're going to do. We're going to stay slightly further away from the wall so we don't get blocked in. So we've got 59 or 50-50, so we might get Max here. We did. Excellent. So that's really good for us. We're going to be just short of deploying where we want. Although, we could maybe just deploy in Gravity Disc, but I think that would be asking too much. I'd rather just use our Cinder effectively. And I think that effectiveness includes popping a Shrapnel down in their face. They won't... Yeah, because they're going to have access to 5 Cinder next turn, so they can haste something out to deal with Shrapnel. So I think being able to get better lines of sight is more important than anything else here. So they could rush down our captain, but we can just put pressure onto them. Next turn it could either be Axl or one of our earlier drops. I'm not even against the idea of just playing Deadeye and saving an extra Cinder, because we don't have a... Okay, well that's fine. Our turn 4 play at this point looks like it's going to be 2-3 drops, so we could actually just go for... I'm not sure, there's a lot of different options to go here. If this is their movement, that's very aggressive. So this to me says they're going to be playing like a Blindsider Extli out. Yeah, so if they move forward, play Blindsider Extli, and then just haste an attack, that would probably be what I'd expect from this sort of situation. They could just straight up kill our Maximus if that's the case. That crit's pretty bad for us. Okay, so this is probably just Rickety then. Yeah. So Rickety's going to hit something and probably explode. It may kill our Maximus. A crit as well, so... And that's their medical recall, so that's coming back next turn. Okay, so here, I don't think there's a world in which we can survive this. I think we are just dead. We tried to leave a bit of space for Max to not get blocked in, but...
Meditating.
Yeah, I don't know how we go about dealing with this at all. We have to try and race them, but we've got potentially another 6 damage coming in next turn, so...
I think they need a snack.
Right, I think what we do...
Ahoy!
Obviously we take that here. Then we just need to move back as safely as we can get.
At your service.
So if we pop Maximus down here... Now what we can do...
Just a taste.
You know what, I don't think there's anything I want to play other than maybe... Because we could grab Disc back here, so if they play here, they're absolutely going to be able to get in range for that. They can shoot us with Deadeye, so... I actually think we need to grab Disc back here, which means I think what we do is we recall Max, figure out how far Astra can move in this direction, which is about to here.
What is time, really?
So we're going to place Max down right there to block as much of their movement as possible. And then we're actually going to grab Disc ourselves into this corner, which is not something I really wanted to be doing at all. But I don't see how else I can get safe from potential 6 damage from Rickety. So next turn we can, if they go more aggressive onto us now, that's much better for us next turn, because next turn they can go ahead and we've got Nano Shield. So we don't mind taking damage and running in this turn, if we can put out enough damage over the next 2. So this is going to be probably a Taria Rickety turn here. Yep, so what are they going to do with this? They can haste out another 2-drop, or they can just play a couple of 2-drops. I think here we are going to be going full on face damage. We just got to hope they don't have something like if they go Maximus again. Because did they have? Yeah, no, we killed their Max. So this is okay. So this is just Taria. So they're just going to go for these two to both shoot it. Yep, hop, shoot, and then hop over here, I imagine. Because this can't miss, and they hop towards us, they can get closer to deploying next turn. They've got the crit anyway. Yeah, so we need to deploy a lot of damage here to try and do something about this for next turn. We can play 3 units though.
Thanks, I'd love a pint.
So let's go with that. Let's keep ourselves out of range here. And then so let's put this here to block some route in this direction.
Heard of slow and steady?
We know Rickety's not going to live, very likely. So we still want to play Rickety out maybe over like here. Try and keep it as safe as possible. We'll play Taria Arsenal a bit more up in their face. Get our additional second wind. And honestly, based on this, I think we deploy Deadeye maybe even here. And just nano shield. So we've got a lot of damage out on the battlefield now, but the question is it going to be enough? The chances are probably not. But we may be able to, who knows. If we can get a good Taria rapid fire if she lives. They've got 1, 2, 3. So potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage on the battlefield now with the ability to haste out. They hasted Rickety. No, did they? They haven't hasted Rickety yet. They hasted Taria last time. So this is going to be Rickety, and they're going to go for this to try and kill multiple things here. Which maybe I should have spread these out. It gives them a lot more time. Yeah, this was a mistake placing them here. I should have spread them out more. Made it so they couldn't hit as many units with the AoE, but that is fine. This does still buy us time. Yeah, so we've got a unit dying there, but they've only got Deadeye and Taria now. And given that we've got Shrapnel, this might be useful. That miss is good for us. That makes it almost impossible to kill Deadeye this turn. So that still puts us in range of having lethal if we can get our Rickety in range. Yeah, they're going to have to run away here. So Rickety would have to explode. But this does give us a little bit more time. Okay, so they've got another unit placed. We can probably get a good solid chunk of damage in here. Yep.
Good job, Barry.
So, they've got 8 left.
Brought my special pack.
We've got 7 damage here, so... Can this shoot this? Yeah, so this is the shot we take here. Deadeye's just going to move up and poke some damage in. I think here we actually need to try and save Zax. So if we move Zax back here and then bring Rickety forward, I actually think I'm going to shoot with Rickety here, which seems really bizarre, but I feel like it's the right thing to do, because 3 damage means that if we get Florio out, which we should... Okay, we got that. Oh, oops. I thought I was out of range of that.
Come on.
That's my fault. And then... So let's just pop Florio down here, block even more lines.
You mess up the wax.
There we go. That's everything we need, and we've got Florio potentially dealing 3 damage at range here. So I actually feel surprisingly safe. I'm kind of like a little nervous here, but I think we might have this. I'm going to be impressed if we do. This is a hard-fought game versus a good opponent. So I feel good about this, and that's worrying me. Like, they're not going to be able to get out of bombard range because we can just move Zax. We've got enough pressure on them. Like, any one of our units is currently lethal. That crit from Rickety probably doesn't change anything, but it's possible it does. like the one thing I'm not worried about is because we've got grav disc to move Florio if we need to, we can just get a bit of extra range onto Astra if we need to. And I feel, I was gonna say, oh no.
Come on, fellas.
So this placement's going to be really important. Yeah, they hit that. Okay, what else have they got that's the next biggest hit? Hang on, is that all their refreshes? Oh no, are they going to have...
Focus on the win.
Yeah, that's it. No more refreshes. So they have to go for... That's it. Yes. Oh, that Quetzali was terrifying. I was thinking about putting Quetzali in this list, but I was thinking we could try and stay at range, but... Oh my goodness, what a great game. That one is really felt impactful. I'm probably only going to be able to fit 2 games in this video because of how long that was and how long we talked about list building, but really, really happy with how that went. I think we ran at just the right time. We had Nano Shield at the right time. It was a really good turn of events for us. I think we played that about right. We got good use out of Medical Recall, which we don't always do. And a couple of crits went both ways as well. So we got crit twice in the early game, they got crit once in the late game. It balanced out fairly well, but it just meant that it changes the calculations there. So a really, really good game from Bad there. So congrats to them. I'm going to look forward to talking to them about that in Discord afterwards as well. But yeah, really happy with how that went, and let's go for game 2. Okay, we are jumping into our second game now, so we're going to hopefully have another great game. That last one was absolutely brilliant. Really, really happy with how it went. And let's see what our opponent's going to be this time. So, obviously we're loading in first. Against Extli. Ooh, I like that paint job. Okay, so, funnily enough, I think Disruptor could be really good versus Extli. Also Nano Shield and Lifeline and Orbitals. Do you know what, against any captain, Orbital's the one I like. Against Extli, Orbital is the best out of it is in any of the matchups. I'm not sure on the right choices here, but I'm going to go Disruptor and Orbital. Let's have a look at this. Oh, it's Stravimara. That's an awesome looking paint job. I haven't seen this, I don't think, in a while. So I know this person. I speak to them on Discord. I've had conversations with them about different ideas and stuff, so really happy to see them here. Okay, maybe here this... So I've got a 37 or a 70, nothing over there. Or 31? I think we need to go for the 50-50 here. Perfect. And then our own Maximus can come out, but we do want it to be fairly safe, because we can't afford to take too many hits. With us going second here, we've actually got a lot of defensive capability. Okay, Stim Burst is good for them. They're going to be just out of range with Extli here. That's huge. Okay, them getting that hit's good. It means they can hide back here if they need to, or they could just hide behind Extli if that's the route they're looking to take. Okay, they're just going to hide there. And now, given that we've moved into the corner... Oh wow, they're going to try and block us in immediately.
Don't hold me back.
Interesting. So obviously we now have to pretty much just go for Extli here. We're going to use our Disruptor Beam next turn to block things out. It's going to be our plan. So we're just going to try and chip damage away on Extli. We've got a miss as well, which is awkward. We want to, again, stay slightly away from the edge. I think moving this way is awkward, but I didn't expect them to be able to deploy Beatrice straight on top of us. So we can either play 2 units here, or we can play a 4-drop. I think this is a Taria Rickety turn, because they don't have that much damage on the battlefield. So let's go with Taria Rickety. So I'll bring Rickety in down here to make it difficult for them to get to. Taria as well. And there's no lining up to be done there either. And now I think we've got a really good amount of damage to potentially head onto their captain. Normally here, like I like to often work against the enemy crew, but I think here we're going to have to work on the captain as quick as possible in order to get anything done. And this is the advantage of having basically sort of the build that we do. So here they're going to go for this. There's not much we can do. Their Maximus is going to be on the... Okay, that miss is great for us. I think it was optimistic at the best of times, but now we've got a really good options of being offensive here. And to be completely honest, Our orbital should be quite good as well. If this is, they could even play a Scattervine here if they want to try and get in range. But we've got, so us having Disruptor means that we can potentially get a lot of damage onto their captain next turn. Okay, with Deadeye there, still there. So now we can place an orbital around here, and that should make us a lot more comfortable. I also do think that Rickety is going to just be an issue here. So let's cover all the defensive spots, basically, is what I want to do here. So they're obviously not going to come into us as much, but let's try and just get as much damage down as we can.
You have that coming.
Move back here. Interestingly,
Come on, you.
so they have got Stim Burst, but we can force them to Stim Burst in a direction that we're okay with them going.
It's not junk, it's experience.
I actually think here it is going to be just a case of, once again, sacrificing Rickety.
Of course it's safe to drink.
Do you know what? We could even just go for the Rapid Fire and just try and go for 6 damage to the face here, put them down to 8. I actually think that might be worth it. So have we got a line of sight here with any chance? 1%, let's go for it. I am shocked that we missed. So I'm actually going to go... Actually no, because there's no point in going for the Siege Initiative because we could just explode. So it's pointless. So let's just go for 3 here. We hit and we do explode. We can move back in this direction. And honestly, I think popping Exli. Oh, I missed. I misclicked. We should have played Exli there. That would have been far, far better. So now they're going to come and just start pressuring our captain. So Extilio can obviously escape this quite easily. Now, I was thinking at one point of putting a mine down here, which I should have done and then maybe played Deadeye. Because now I think we've put ourselves in a very difficult spot. So their Stim Burst is going to mean they can't hide behind here, but it moves things at least in the direction we'd rather have it. But yeah, I think not playing something here was a big deal. Okay, so now we're on board of just the
Sorry, I'm taking.
try and get the captain down. So this might actually be a rapid fire turn here, and then trying to just move things away and survive. Yeah, I think that might be what our plan is here.
Ingredients: sugar or random hormones.
So if we move to say here, seize initiative, go for the double shots here,
You gotta give me some hot beer tips, slut.
move over this direction. But first we get
I forgot my lucky
Maximus' shots in.
Yep. A dent in my
Getting down to that. Move over here. So we do need to get ourselves safe. That's one thing that's very important here. So we're going to just disrupt as far as we can in different directions to each other. Even, I think this way works better because it's harder for Beatrice to get onto us.
Sneaky.
And then here, we think with our 2 extra Cinder,
Convenient. Ahoy.
we could place a Sleeper Mine, but they don't have Stim Burst this turn.
What is this? A
So I'm
game?
going to actually just play Florio over here. I'm going to pop Deadeye
Don't touch.
about here, making it harder for them to get to us as well. Quick. There we go. That's about what we want, just out of range of Extilio. Oh, I forgot to shoot with Taria. Should have had them to 4. That's a pretty big mistake. No, so Max has got 2 shields on, so we don't just kill Max with our Florio this turn, but we should be fairly safe here, and we can start applying pressure. It's going to be hard for them to get out of line of sight of things. Okay, they got lifeline. Okay, so we need to deal 10 damage next turn, or we can start trying to find other ways of winning the game. So I don't know what their shot. Okay, so they're just going all in on our captain here, which might be the right thing to do. So as it stands, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage on the board. So they either need to heal, yeah. So we can't afford to go for a crit here. So we have to go for a crit here if we want anything to happen, or we can just go for a running away, basically. The thing I'm kind of worried about is I feel like a Quetzalcoatl is going to come down. So what I kind of want to do here is just...
Oh, I forgot my lucky cravat.
Okay. So we can push for these.
Need a stim pop?
So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so in theory we might be able to do this, but it's very difficult to do.
Want some talus fruit?
Okay, let's just try it.
Brought my special pack.
Let's see if we can pull these, just these two this way. Oh, we don't have enough cinder to do everything we wanted. Oops. Awkward. Very awkward indeed.
Beep beep. Bam bam bam.
So we could try and go for like a big crit here, but honestly, I think I've just messed this up. And let's just pop a sleeper mine down here. I think I might have messed this up. I feel like there might have been a route we could do this, but... So they've got Stim Burst. The question is, do they have Quetzalcoatl? Because Quetzalcoatl probably just wins in the game here. Yeah, so Beatrice can get on the mine. Okay, them attacking this way is a really good start for us, because it means that we're far less likely to lose just outright. Especially with 3 damage coming in from Florio next turn. If we can block off routes that we need with Orbital... Got a mine sat around, so this could work out okay for us. I've got the feeling I've played this wrong, but the fact that damage isn't coming onto our face is really good for us. Who knows? Maybe they're relying on a couple of big hits on maybe like a big crit off of something, or I think we're in a fairly decent position here. The fact these two aren't touching is actually probably a mistake. Because you probably want it to explode so that Beatrice can take it rather than Extli. Yeah, so something's going to go down here. I mean, Jailbreak needs to move on to this. Okay, well that I think is a mistake. If Jailbreak moved on to here, we'd be a lot better. If this needs to be a big crit for it to matter, they need to crit onto this. That was the wrong target. Okay, so now we can just... chew away in here. Okay, we only got 1. And because of that, we didn't actually deal any damage.
This is the life.
Can we get the mine to do damage here? Maybe.
Hello.
Oh, we couldn't. So, we have to go for the 22% chance. Oh my goodness, we've lost this. We might as well just send this over there.
Fully loaded.
I can't believe that Max missed one of those shots. That's so brutal.
Sneaky.
There's nothing else to do, is there?
Thanks. I'd love a punch.
It's just this, so we need to take the 1 in 5. That's all we've got. Max can't even move out the way. 1 in 5 chance.
What is this, a game?
We missed.
Hey.
Oh, what a brutal game. Let's just stick this down for the fun of it.
You can coward.
Well done, Drafimara. I honestly thought we had that a couple of times over, but that one Zax miss, not only did it stop our Zax having...
I'll be back.
Oh, that was absolutely brutal. Well played, Drafimara. Like, happy to lose to a good opponent. I think we were very, very close to getting that. But that's how it comes down sometimes. RNG is RNG. That's what the game is. I would be sad if it didn't have it, so I'm really happy that that game went as well as it did. So, I think our main issue there was the positioning in the early turn to try and take out Maximus. We never actually even bothered dealing with Maximus, so we left him alive the entire game. We just turned on the captain, went for damage on that front, and to be honest, I think that really was a bit of a mistake. It was unnecessary to do, and all we did was put ourselves in a position where we were more vulnerable, we got blocked in by the Beatrice, and I think the game is very different if we just take it a bit slower and not try to rush that down. All in all, really good game. I do think this video is going to be cut here at just two games, because they're really good games, quite in depth, and quite a lot of sort of nuance to them. And honestly, these are the sort of games that are really going to be much more prevalent when we get like a ladder system in place or tournaments and that sort of thing. So really happy to have played it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this too. If you have, please hit the subscribe button. It really does mean a lot to me. Had a little burst of subscriptions since Christmas has happened, so that's been a nice little boost. And with all the new sets coming up, I'll be covering every bit of release news that we get, again through patch notes. I'll be looking at all the new characters when they come out in a couple of weeks time, the new captain. I'm really excited for what we've got ahead. So pop a comment down there, let me know what you think, and most importantly, have a good day.